Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be reviewing WRC 10. So sit back and enjoy my full review and full in-depth look at this brand new rally racing game. So before we get this review underway, I just want to say a quick thank you to Nacon and KT Racing for allowing me a chance to play WRC 10 for the very first time and to play it early before the game even launched. Of course, without their help I wouldn't be able to bring you the review here today. But just for context guys, I am playing this on PC. We're playing in QHD. My PC specs are a 2080 Super, a Ryzen 7 3700X and 3600 MHz of 32GB of RAM. I also have this installed on my 980 EVO SSD, so the load times should be quicker, and I did try this on an external hard drive as well to see how the load times would differ. But for the time being guys, this is a first time perspective from my opinion of someone who plays a lot of racing games but majority bike games, so this is going to be rather exciting for me, so I hope you enjoy, and let's crack on, shall we? So first things first, what's going to happen when you start WRC 10 for the first time? You're going to see this menu, and this is going to give you a plethora of options to play this brand new rally game. Of course, this being the 10th installment of WRC, so if you've played the other games, you're probably going to be familiar with this one. But going off the pretense you've never played it before, this is what you're in store for. Lots of options, but first and foremost for us, I guess it's going to be starting in career mode, and that's where we're going to be right now. So this is your career mode hub. Right here in the garage, you can go from things of configuring your car, looking at the calendar, looking at the R&D, the crew management, your emails, objectives, statistics, standings, and even a testing area. So if you want to take the car out for a spin, experience different terrains and different conditions, you can do that too before you actually jump into an event or into any sort of timing session. Now, of course, the configuration of the car, someone who's not familiar with cars so much, it was still very easy to learn and understand how to incorporate different things to the car to improve it, to change the gear ratios, to change the suspension, and understanding when to use different tyres. The game does a good job of teaching you quite the basic things, and someone who plays so much bike games but doesn't play car games, this was very helpful for me because I'm not completely experienced with all of this, but the more I played it, the more I understood it, the better I become. And of course, looking at the calendar option, you can choose your little calendar ideas. It gives you that sense of being the actual rally driver for this World Rally Championship team. And of course, I have started in the Junior Championship, where I'll look to upgrade myself and my own team as well, because of course the option of the R&D doesn't just give you things to upgrade on the car, it gives you the ability to increase and improve the crew in general. So you can look at different things within your team and see things that you might be struggling with, things you might need assistance with. You can come to R&D, look at things for the team to improve the performance and the crew and even the reliability of the car itself. So maybe your car keeps damaging itself after every big jump, come to R&D and see if you can fix that from there. Of course, you have the crew management as well, giving you that sense of realism as being the actual driver, learning and understanding who you need on your side, and how to keep the momentum of your team going as well, because morale is also another thing that features in this game, which I'll touch base upon later on after one of the training sessions. But the idea of this game is just packing the content in the career mode, because I jumped into quick play at first and did a few things, and now when I came to the career mode, the game really opened up. I can spend a lot of time doing career mode, looking at the objectives, positioning myself in a position to succeed, or maybe putting myself in a position to fail if I've maybe researched and developed the wrong things, maybe I've not got the right crew, maybe I've just not got the skills to actually be part of this World Rally Championship. Very interesting career mode so far. I'm rather enjoying it. It looks quite in depth, and believe me, it's pretty much is, and very, very enjoyable. So now we'll go into a testing session. So part of career mode is you're going to have to do a bit of testing every now and again. And this one is a part of my calendar update, so I decided to chuck in a test. Very simple, basic time trial just to go around in this little bit of a loop, getting used to the car, getting a feeling for the car before we tackle the Croatian rally, because of course you don't want to jump in there without any experience. It's best to jump in, do a bit of practice, learn the basics, learn how the car feels, and then jump in to the actual rally event itself. And of course, I'm not the best at this game, I'm not going to profess to be. I am using a DualSense controller, so maybe I'm a little bit not used to everything yet, and of course I'm not using a steering wheel like you professionals would be using, but of course there's plenty of options for the steering wheel as well. But for the time being, training is pretty much finished. We do have the gold, which results in more money, which results in a higher level, and of course the team will get a big thumbs up and a bonus because your morale is good, their morale is good as well. So moving into the actual rally stage, this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time as well. So after you've sorted everything back home in the garage, now it's time to prepare for the actual race weekend. And a feature I found very entertaining and very interesting in this one is your choice of tyres. Now you can choose all your tyres. I am using a shorter rally weekend for this one, but when I chose the full weekend, you get a choice of about 22 tyres, and you need to use these sparingly throughout every single session. And you can change these as you go and on the fly, but of course you have to wait for specific days, just like they do in real life, to change certain aspects of the car. So now let's take a look at the cars in WRC 10, from categories from the WRC, from WRC 2 and 3, Junior, Legends, and even a bonus section. And in the bonus section you're going to find cars such as the old Toyotas, the Citroens, which Sebastian Loeb was, of course, an absolute legend of the sport. And speaking of legends, there is many more cars from legendary eras, because of course there's a 50th anniversary feature to this game, which will feature cars from the 1970s all the way up to the late 2010s. So plenty of cars to choose from, and different eras makes the game a lot more entertaining and interesting to try out, because trying these cars out and experiencing how they felt compared to the modern day WRC cars was very, very entertaining. It certainly feels different, and it certainly gives you that sense of this is a different car in total. So from the different cars from the main categories to the junior categories to the WRC 2 and 3 cars, every car sort of feels different depending on what championship you're in. I did find that more or less the cars feel the same within the same category, because they're all the same sort of four-wheel drive cars or two-wheel drive cars, front wheels or rear wheels. It was the more so the different categories where you really felt the difference in. And doing rally with some of the more modern cars compared to the older 1970s to 1980s cars really felt fantastic. It was an experience that I really enjoyed. I found it much difficult to maneuver some of the 1970s and the 90s cars, much more harder and tougher to move than the modern day super easy and slick movements of the new cars. So speaking of those legendary rally cars and the modern day WRC machines, we now have 4 brand new rallies such as Estonia, Croatia, Belgium and Spain, and of course all the rest of them part of the 2021 WRC Championship, 6 historic rallies including Acropolis, San Remo, Germany and Argentina, with about 120 special stages included as well, so from tracks from the early 70s, 90s, late 2000s, tracks everywhere pretty much in the anniversary section, and of course all the modern ones from the 2021 calendar for this season into World Rally Championship. A feature for you rally fans very much to get excited about is the brand new Livery Editor feature in WRC 10. So you can literally just pick a car you want from any of the championships involved in this video game, change the colour, change the material from a solid finish to a glossy finish, pearlescent, metallic, however you want to have your car looking. And of course you're going to notice a plethora of colours down at the bottom corner of your screen there. Every single one of those are locked, and those are all unlocked and achieved by doing specific stages throughout the game. So whether it's doing such a fast lap in a career mode event, maybe doing a couple of split screen races, how many seasons you've done, weekly challenges, maybe a couple of quick play events, there's plenty to do and achieve in WRC 10. And of course the Livery Editor doesn't stop there. Let's have a look at the stickers as well. And of course, being DrAce, let's put a big fat ace on the left hand side of this car, because of course, why not? A very basic sticker editor. It's very simple to place things on. The tutorials are more enough clear to put things on, to add stickers, to remove stickers. Very easy experience, and comparing it to the likes of Ride 4, which I'm more accustomed to, with the sticker editor on that being superb, very similar to that one. I'd probably give the edge to the likes of Ride 4, but as this one being a different context in general, this one being a rally game made by KT Racing, I probably do very much enjoy this one. I'm not the most creative person when it comes to creating liveries and editing things, but I would rather enjoy making something to make my car look that extra special. And it's something I'm always concerned about whenever they do have a livery editor, is actual logos in the game. Are they going to be made up logos? Are they going to be official licensed logos? And this game has a nice amount of official logos and flags for you to use. Now of course some games, when they give you a sticker editor, it's just basic stickers and shapes. But this one, very much liking it so far, with everything I want to sort of use, from numbers, from text, from logos, from stickers. Really helpful and easy to use, so big thumbs up from me when it comes to a livery and a sticker editor. I'm just going to chuck a fat 47 on it because that's my racing number and leave it at that. So following on earlier from what we mentioned with the legendary cards and challenge modes about unlocking things, this is a brand new game mode for WRC 10, and that is the 50th anniversary mode. And I absolutely love this because I don't know much about WRC, but I can learn a lot now from looking at some of the best moments of the 50 years of WRC and experience it in video game form, from taking a Renault Alpine from 1973 and trying to win an iconic rally, from going into some of the older rallies that I might not experience before. We can experience this in video game form throughout the 50th anniversary event, and I'm a big fan of these when they do it in any video game, focusing on a specific era or focusing on some past histories of the sport and allowing the player to experience it once again with modern day graphics. So another feature of WRC 10 which I'm a big fan of is the challenge mode, where you'll be given a specific car and a specific track to try and beat it under maybe specific conditions with bad tyres, maybe a bad circumstance during the race such as a stormy weather, maybe a very difficult situation with the car, maybe it's not handling well, and your challenge is to try and get this from point A to point B at the fastest time possible in the allotted time given. So of course for this challenge, very, very simple one, you're going to go from a point to point, racing as fast as you can to get this older car across the line and do it within a 32-second time limit. Of course I'm giving it everything I've got here, but I'm not the best, trying my best exactly with what tools I've got available, and of course just giving it 100%. We're going to go into a chicane right at the end, which I'm going to try and go straight between. It's going to be certainly a close one, a little bit of brake, a little bit of flick to the right, to the left, and there we go, across the line. Unfortunately, not good enough for gold, but we can always come back and reattempt it another time. Now as far as the features go for this game, that's pretty much complete. I now want to take a look at the most important aspect, and that is the racing itself. And first things first, this game has a plethora of customization in this game, from changing the camera, from changing the gameplay itself, such as changing the anti-brakes, the traction control, steering assist, transmission, the difficulty of the game, listening to the co-driver, maybe changing the co-driver's voice, maybe changing the gender of the co-driver, maybe you'd prefer to listen to a female rather than a male, however you wanted them to tell you. So whether you want them to tell you early that the corner is coming up, or maybe you want to tell you right at the death of that corner is approaching. But of course the amount of options in this game really makes the game feel personal to you, because of course you can tweak this at any point during the race. So if you feel like you're not really finding the rhythm, maybe the camera's a bit too low, maybe you're a taller person and you want to see higher up from the steering wheel, you can jump into the camera and change all of that to your liking. It's a very in-depth feature that I think is a fantastic feature that really needs to be dealt with in more games. I would love to see this in some bike games perhaps, and maybe have a taller rider. When you go into the helmet cam, maybe your view is a little bit different to someone who might be smaller. Very interesting style of additions to the game, which unfortunately for myself, I've not played the other ones, so I can only give you a review from this perspective. So this may have been in a game before, but for the time being, as a first time experience, I think it's a fantastic feature that really makes it feel personal. So how is the driving? How does the driving feel on a controller? Now I didn't experience this with the wheel, but I experienced this with a controller, and the feeling is very, very good. The cars do feel different from experiencing the junior cars to the legendary cars and now to the modern day WRC cars here. And the feeling and the excitement and the speed is very well done. And I like a little feature there, you may have heard it with the co-driver just a moment ago, the immersive co-driver action. So basically if you crash, he's going to or should the sort of getting battered around inside the car. If you've done something great such as that on screen, he's going to reinforce your efforts and give you a bit of a praise to say, good job mate, you know, keep it going. I like those little features. It made me smile throughout the race because I felt like I was losing a lot of time and I was giving it everything I could, and then finally I got the green sector and I heard a good old reinforcement from my co-driver Johnny Glamour, so I was very pleased with that one. And yes, my co-driver is called Johnny Glamour. But as far as the racing goes, it feels good, feels very nice. I like the attention to track detail. The detail on the track is very clear, it's very good. There's a lot of different features to look out for during the race, such as small poles, trees, and just different environmental things going off around you. There's things such as wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men, things as statues, pedestrians, and plenty of flags and memorabilia. But also if you go into the Kenya Grand Prix, you will see some animals too. I do want to have a quick look at the replay aspect of this game, because from the replay perspective, it really looks real. I must confess, from some of the angles in this camera and the replay of features in general, some of it looks actually real. The attention to the track itself, the attention to the car as it whizzes past, the rubber that's left behind on the tarmacs, the screeching, the sounds, it's awesome. And from playing in helmet cam view, I never really hear the sound as much, but when you come back and go into the replay aspect, or even go from the helicopter cam, you can see and hear the sound of the car. It just fits in so well for the game. The aspect of the environment looks fantastic. The colour is really good. The lighting is nice. It's certainly an experience that I very much enjoyed. And from the helmet cam, which I'll show you in a moment's time, it looks fantastic. It genuinely looks real. I do love the replay mode because it gives you that sense of re-establishing and experiencing the excitement again, and WRC 10's replay mode definitely does that as well. But let's have a look now at a third-person camera perspective. When I play rally games in the past, I've only ever used the helmet cam. Granted, I might not be very good at it, but I thought I'd change up and use the third-person perspective, and just to have a better look at the details around the track, such as cars that have broken down in front of you and might have already crashed from a previous lap attempt, and just the environment itself. The conditions have changed rapidly as well, so this is a tougher, dirtier track with a lot of water on track. The feeling is totally different to what we just experienced with a track which has just got a bit of snow on it. I will stay quiet for this next part so you can just listen to the sound of the engine and to see how the sounds of the track and the dirt being kicked up, because they've really paid a wonderful amount of attention to the sound in this game.
Into hairpin left, don't cut. And jump into right 3, into left 3. And square right through gate 50.
So one of the last things I do want to finally look at is the damage in this game. How well is the damage depicted in WRC 10? So I'm going to drive like an absolute buffoon and try and destroy the heck out of this car so we can get an understanding of how the damage actually looks. So already we've had one roll, and I'm going to absolutely fire it into this wall down here to really do some serious damage. So this is the damage that has been done to this Hyundai that's just been thrown around the circuit and absolutely decimated. So as you can see, a lot of damage for the bumpers. The front of the car and the rear of the car have taken a lot of damage. Not so much for the roof, considering this car was upside down just a moment ago. There doesn't seem to be any smashed glass or any scratches on the windows, which I find rather odd. But for the rest of the car, it is pretty much an absolute mess, which is going to cost a fortune to repair. However, I did expect a little bit more damage in the sense of broken windows, smashed glass, and just a little bit more damage to the pieces itself. But nonetheless, still pretty good in the sense of damage. Well guys, this is pretty much going to be it for my review. I think I've covered everything I needed to cover. I've looked at all the features and now the actual racing and the driving itself, and honestly my feedback for this game so far has been fantastic. A rally game that I will definitely be returning back to. I'm very excited to continue my career mode. I've very much enjoyed it so far, and I probably will do for quite a while. It's a nice change from the bikes that I've been usually doing, but it's nice to obviously experience something new, and once again big thanks to Nacon for allowing me a chance to experience this game for the very first time. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm probably just going to run around Barcelona a couple of times in this car, just thrashing it around the tighter circuits and tighter corners in the night time here. But that is pretty much it for me, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have enjoyed it and you found it helpful, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you really enjoyed it as well, a like button would be very much appreciated, and hit that subscribe button as well if you want to see more reviews like this or more racing games and different video games in general. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.